somebody on our team had this crazy idea like 3 years ago, and I was like, this is not going to work. People aren't going to show up. Thanks for showing up and filling the room. It's great to be here. We're thrilled to welcome you to the second of what we hope will be an infinite number of New York City Tech Awards, which is designed as a real celebration of the incredible achievements, growth, innovation going on in this community and this city. And looking around this room, it's a pretty unbelievable group of people, including people who've been really important in our journey. I was lucky enough to be sitting at dinner next to Alan Patrikoff, who 11 years ago was the first person I asked to be a reference when Ben and I were trying to raise our first fund, which was no easy journey, and to now come full circle and be able to ask him to come on stage and get the props he deserves is a real pleasure tonight. This community of ours has had a pretty incredible year, and I think a pretty incredible year in the face of, if you rewind, a lot of doubters who I think, you know, there was a vibe going on about a year ago saying, hey, this AI thing, it's clearly tilting the balance of power back towards San Francisco. New York, you've had kind of a nice ride, but you're not going to keep going. And I think we kept going in the last year. If the stuff that walks off the elevator into our office is any indication, we've had an incredible year. And to give you just a stat that captures how far we've come. So you go back 10 years, and New York City in the 2013, 14, 15, 16 range, in a given year, we would produce about 30% of the number of new startup formations and seed capital deals as the Bay Area. Fast forward, and the last 3 years, we've been averaging over 75% of the volume of new company formation and seed investments as the Bay Area. Not bad. So think about, you know, play that forward 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. And we're basically going to be producing almost the same volume of the next generation of Mongos, of Etsy's, of Warbies, of Datadogs as the Bay Area. This place, like, we don't even know what this city's ecosystem is about to become. And it's so inspiring to think about it. So when we launched this thing, this event, we launched it because we believe that this community is just different and just better than any tech ecosystem we've ever experienced. And we wanted to give it a place to gather and celebrate and you know, applaud each other, applaud ourselves, support each other, because I think we all, and I suspect everybody in this room, shares my sentiment, which is that, and certainly our team's sentiment, which is that this community has a spirit of support, of collaboration, of cooperation, and frankly, of non-douchiness. That is a little different than the one on the other coast 3 hours behind us. And so we're thrilled to convene you all. Last year, it was an honor to induct Kevin Ryan, total icon, kind of grandfather of so many companies in this community, as the first inductee into the New York City Tech Hall of Fame. I couldn't imagine a better person to be the solo occupant of that house for a year, but we're going to give him some company in that house tonight, and he's been intimately involved in the process of selecting those people. We also brought together 30 of the companies who in 2023 had achieved the most, grown the best, were knocking it out of the park. It's great to see a bunch of those companies back here this year as co-hosts and attendees with us tonight, feting the new class of honorees who you'll hear about in a little bit. Importantly, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to our co-hosts. Last year, we kind of pulled this thing on our back largely by ourselves, and so many of you came up to us last year and said, thank you for doing this. How can we help? How can we participate? So you'll see the list of folks. If we could just give a round of applause to them for helping out. And I almost forgot, I have a little bit of a side agenda because tonight's especially meaningful for our team. 10 years ago today, literally to the day, January 30th, 2015, we called capital from our LPs for the first time ever on our first fund. And about 12 days from now exactly, we then wired that capital out to the first investment primary venture partners ever made in early February of 2015. Side note, we're still waiting for that to come back. Sometimes these things take a while, who knows? But it's been a pretty good ride for the most part, independent of whether that ever turns around. So, and I think as we think about the last decade of growing the firm, it's really reflected the growth of this market. And we've just been lucky, fortunate to have you all blowing the wind that we have hoisted a sail into and grown alongside with you. So thanks to everybody who's been a part of our journey over the last 10 years, and we can't wait for the next 10, 20. I've got 40 years to go before I catch Alan, so I'll keep doing this for a bunch of them anyway. So thank you to our sponsors, thank you to our co-hosts. Quickly, what to expect tonight, overview of the program. We're going to keep things moving pretty quickly so we get you back to cocktails and dessert afterwards. I am going to start with our Hall of Fame inductees, and each of them will be introduced and have a chance to give a couple of remarks. We've had one unfortunate late dropout, but she's phoning it in for us, I think. Then we're going to have the Startup Award honorees coming up and being awarded by our co-hosts at Newmark. And finally, my co-founder, Ben Sun, has a couple of exciting comments on what's to come in 2025 that he will share. And with that, I will ask our friend Kevin Ryan, who for a few more minutes is the sole resident of the New York City Hall of Fame, to come up and kick off the rest of the night.